if you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will confuse you. And black people are the most confused people on the planet, confused about everything. We're looking at this world around us and we're totally confused. Because that world is made by the white supremacists. And they are the greatest confusers on the planet. They're masters of confusion. How else can you control people over a long period of time without confusing them? It's an absolute must. Otherwise, you have to stand over each individual with a gun all day. The white supremacists don't do that. They stand over them with a gun every now and then. But on a day-to-day basis, they got everybody on automatic. Robots. They got everybody on automatic. Robots.
There's a time and a place for dancing and entertaining, but it's not in the middle of a war. What we need is calm and quiet thinking and analysis. See, this is why it is important to read the newspapers. See, this is why it is important to read the newspapers.
Let's take a look at some of what the NAACP is doing right now. Right? Let's just take a look. I'm going to show a video. This video is from last year. Right, and this is they were having MLK Day, and I believe Kamala, and this was in South Carolina, and I believe Kamala Harris was going to speak at this venue here that I'm about to show you. And this is how they treated black people who came with signs with Martin Luther King quotes. Okay, so let's take a look.
Signs for reparations have to go?
Right, they didn't say anything about Facebook.
On MLK Day, sign.
That is Marcel Dixon, Mr. Marcel. He was running against Clyburn in South Carolina, and he changed. He has brought a lot of clarity to the reparations conversation. A lot of his videos have gone viral for his ability to be able to break it down in a way that even white Republicans are like, yeah, you guys should have that. And I'm always shocked at the response that he gets, but it is so thorough. I shouldn't be, but So let's just let me continue to play. I just wanted to, give Marcel his flowers because I love him.
Reparations have to go.
They didn't say anything.
This is an MLK quote.
Okay, I understand that.
So we can't say reparations with the NAACP?
He said we're coming to get our check.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Right.
These are reparation signs.
NAACP said we can't say reparations?
This is protest.
No, that's not.
Reparations.
No, read the whole sign.
Okay, Trez, let me give you words. Are we lying?
I don't know if you're lying or not, but
That's
the
not a
protest.
protest.
I promise you I'm not.
This is reparations.
I know
We're
what
saying,
reparation is.
where you from?
Far from here, but it don't matter.
It don't matter.
What I'm saying is,
Because that's how a lot of them act here.
saying
But you said it
everybody got money. We're saying we want it too.
That's what we're saying.
How are you saying? We're saying trillions for illegal.
That's Miss G. I love her too. Isn't her accent adorable? She was getting hot though. that accent was less adorable. It was more like, I know the hell. So, but yeah, that's Miss G. I love Miss G as well. Let's keep going as they confront them on MLK Day about MLK slogans or MLK's actual quotes.
Immigrants, Ukraine and Israel, but zero for reparations.
And you said
So
no
you
sign.
said
you.
you can't
You
say
didn't see
that?
the sign. You said no sign before you talk now.
No, you just said that.
Let's get some straight.
No,
All
that's
right, all
I
right, let's go.
cannot
You
believe
look
I'm
at
a
those
member
eyes.
of the
Hey, hey.
Let's get that straight. Look, I
NAACP.
saw the sign.
And we have a
Yeah, the sign the other
chapter
way.
talking
They
about
were stacked on each other.
reparations,
You
and
saw a
he
sign,
said
keep the
we
sign.
can't have
Yeah,
reparations
X-ray vision.
posters. Are y'all getting this? The NAACP is saying that at a Democratic event, we cannot post posters
About
talking
reparations.
about reparations when they said that our people are facing zero wealth by 2053, and actually it's in the
Here you go.
2030s.
I
This
show.
is the NAACP.
This is an MLK
I'm
quote.
a member.
He said we're coming to get our check. Like a few weeks before he was killed.
No, guys, y'all need to get this.
I have no idea what's wrong.
We cannot fight for reparations.
I ain't coming here calling no one a name or nothing.
On reparations. The NAACP just said this.
Thank you. I agree. Okay, come on, y'all. Come on, let's go. I'm going to say.
I was about to say.
Y'all saying they saying no justice, no peace. Reparations is justice.
We can't talk about.
Now, keep in mind that while they telling them that they couldn't go in, that the Palestine people was there actually protesting, and they were not told to leave.
They're saying no justice, no peace. Reparations is justice. Okay.
I just want to remind y'all this is the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Just hold on a second.
That's unfair.
Hey,
We have to be
let's see what we got to say.
Hey, come here. Put that down.
I don't believe you said
Put your
that.
sign down. Come here. Put your sign down. Come here. Come here. I know you're videoing and all this stuff.
No, everybody needs to record this. Everybody needs to
They got
record
signs up there. I know they got signs up there.
Okay, so what do you want to say? I'm listening.
Get back to white America.
No, Ms. Giselle, let's see what we got to say.
You can't stand out here and get all loud.
No, you was throwing us
You
out.
start protesting
You
about
were not a protest.
Okay, well, we won't be loud.
Member of the NAACP, and you're saying, and we have a chapter in Maryland that's fighting for the.
I'm a member of the NAACP as well, you know. You can look me
You
up.
know that we're
You
hearing.
just said,
We're not going to be loud.
okay.
So what's the issue now?
Okay, go ahead.
No, we're waiting on you to give us our instructions.
I can't believe you were about
told
to
you to let
quietly
me see the
escort
sign.
us out of
Here
here.
you go.
Okay.
Okay. She starts screaming.
No, you tried to quietly escort us out of here.
Okay, Ms. Giselle, no.
Hold on. Let's hear him.
We're not going to do that.
No.
Okay, so come on, what you want to say about the
If that's
signs?
not it, maybe I overreacted. I'm
You
sorry.
overreacted. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what it
Don't
was.
start doing
Oh,
all the
okay.
protesting.
Okay.
Oh no, but we would let people know if you.
But MLK was a protester now. Don Martin Luther King Jr. was a protester.
There we go.
Don Martin Luther King Jr. got loud.
No, if you get loud out here, you have to get it.
Well, we not. Okay.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
We're not even doing that.
So we're not going to be.
So, okay, what you want us to do? Just hold the signs, but don't get loud.
You can hold
We
your
didn't.
sign.
No, we wouldn't
Okay.
know the instructions
I
because
asked
we
you to
follow
see
the
the
rules.
sign.
Okay.
Okay.
You can hold up your sign.
Thank
No,
you.
you saw it.
Ms. Giselle, it's okay. We can hold it up.
So he saw the signs.
Okay.
If I'm going to talk, let me talk.
So we can hold.
Yeah. So, as you can see, the NAACP didn't seem to be standing on MLK's quotes. And when foundational Black Americans came with their signs, they were not allowed to come in. Their signs with MLK quotes on it, they were not allowed to be there. However, Palestine's people, regardless if they're from Palestine or not, were allowed to say what they had to say and do their demonstrations or protests or whatever. Okay. So who is the NAACP really for? If they're not going to uphold the quotes of Martin Luther King, who are they really for? And I want you to keep in mind what we've already seen. We already saw Who was the head legal counsel? Who they put in charge to write to be the architect, to write the blueprint for the legal strategy? We saw who that was. I've already showed you who that was. So why is it, I think, I'm going to read this one more passage before I even get into that part. I'm going to read one more passage from Negroes with Guns. Hold on. I'm going to read one more passage from Negroes with Guns, and then I'm going to get into that part right there. Here we go. So this is going to be a longer passage that we're going to read here, right? Hi, everybody. This is going to be a longer passage that we're reading here, and this is from the book Negroes with Guns. This book was recommended so many times. I just felt like I had to read it because so many people was telling me to read the book. Okay, so all right, so let's read this portion, okay? In 1969, Mrs. Georgia, can you still see? Oh, it looks like it's cut off over there. Okay, here we go. That looks better. In 1969, Mrs. Georgia White, a Negro mother of 5 children who worked on in a Monroe hotel as a maid, was kicked down a flight of stairs into the lobby of a hotel by a white guest. He said he kicked Miss White down a flight of stairs because she had been making too much noise while working in the corridor and had disturbed his sleep. When we asked for an indictment, the chief of police, A.A. Mowney, refused our request. Finally, when we threatened to take legal action by bringing the NAACP lawyers, he relented and placed this man under a $75 bond. Even though this white defendant subsequently failed to appear in court for his trial, he was not convicted. That same day, there was another colored woman in the court, Mrs. Mary Ruth Reed. Mrs. Reed was 8 months pregnant. She was the victim of an attempted rape by a white man who came to her house, drove her from her house, and then beat her. He caught her while she was trying to escape down the main highway and knocked her to the ground. Mrs. Reed's 6-year-old boy was running along the side, and when the white rapist beat his mother, the boy picked up a stick and started hitting the man over the head with it while his mother escaped. She went to a neighbor's house, and her neighbor called the police and gave her aid. The neighbor was a white woman, and she came to court that day with Mrs. Reed. She came and testified that she had seen the defendant chasing Miss Reed, and that Mrs. Reed had come to her house in an excited and hysterical state, without shoes and with her clothes torn from her. This testimony required considerable courage on the part of Mrs. Reed's white neighbor. During the trial, the defense attorney arranged for the defendant's wife to sit at his side as if she were also involved in the case. The defense attorney appealed to the jury. He said, "Judge, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you see this man? This is his wife. This woman, this white woman, is a pure flower of life. She is one of God's lovely creatures, a pure flower. And do you think that this man would have left his pure flower for that?" And he made it appear as if the colored woman was actually on trial. Then the defense ended by saying, it's just a matter of whether or not you're going to believe this woman or this white man. Judge, Your Honor, this man is not guilty of any crime. He was just drinking and having a little fun. The man was acquitted. Miss Reed had several brothers who wanted to kill her white attacker before the trial began. But I persuaded the writer of the book. I persuaded them not to do anything. I said that this was a matter that would be handled legally and that we would get a lawyer, which we did. We brought a lawyer all the way from New York who wasn't even allowed to take the floor in court. So I was responsible for this would-be rapist not being punished. The courtroom was full of colored women, and when this man was acquitted, they turned to me and said, "Now what are you gonna do? You have opened the floodgates on us. Now these people know they can do anything that they want to us, and there is no prospect of punishment under the law. And it means we have been exposed to these people, and you are responsible for it. Now, what are you going to say?" I told them that in a civilized society, the law is a deterrent against the strong who would take advantage of the weak. But the South is not a civilized society. The South is a social jungle. So in cases like this, we have to revert to the law of the jungle. Remember, this book is called Negroes with Guns. It had become necessary for us to create our own deterrent. I said that in the future we would defend our women and our children, our homes and ourselves with our arms. That we would meet violence with violence. My statement was reprinted all over the United States. What I said was, this demonstration today shows that the Negro in the South cannot expect justice in the courts. He must convict his attackers on the spot. He must meet violence with violence, lynching with lynching. The next day, in an interview with the Carolina Times, I again pointed to the lack of protection from the courts. I said these court decisions open the way to violence. I do not mean that the Negroes should go out and attempt to get revenge for mistreatments or injustices. I made this statement again on the same day over a Cincinnati radio station. Later that evening, in a telecast interview in Charlotte, I again made it clear that I was speaking of self-defense when the courts fail to protect us. Since the principle is so obvious, I couldn't understand the commotion my statement aroused or why it should receive so much national publicity. 2 years previously, we had shot up the Ku Klux. What? They did what? 2 years previously, when we had shot up the Ku Klux Klan in self-defense. So don't have these people thinking that people didn't fight back. 2 years previously, when we had shot up the Ku Klux Klan in self-defense, not a single white newspaper in America reported the incident. This is why there's not much evidence of these things. We were only serving notice that we would do more of the same. That Negro self-defense was here to stay in Monroe. So I didn't feel like we were doing anything new. I realize now that we were establishing a principle born out of our experience, which could and would set an example to others. Looking back, it is clear that racists made a big error in publicizing our stand, even though it caused me and my family a great deal of suffering. The result has been to force a debate on the issue. It also shook up the NAACP considerably out of its timid attitudes and forced an official reaffirmation from the NAACP of the right of the Negroes to self-defense against racist violence. So again, we have evidence of the NAACP not doing what the people actually want, not siding with the people on what they actually want. And I'm going to read just one more paragraph from the next chapter because I just want to drive that point home. Yeah, I only have one more paragraph. Until my statement hit the national newspapers, the national office of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, had paid little attention to us. We had received little help from them in our struggles and our hour of need. Now they lost no time. The very next morning, I received a long-distance telephone call from the national office wanting to know if I had been quoted correctly. I told them I had. They said that the NAACP was not an organization of violence. I explained to them that I knew that, and that it was not an organization. I explained that I knew that it was not an organization of violence. They said that I had made violent statements. I replied that I made these statements as Robert Williams, not as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And they said that because I was an official of the organization, anything that I said would be considered NAACP policy, that we were too close together. I asked them why, if we were so close together, they hadn't come to my rescue all this time when I had been when I had been the unemployed victim of the Klan's economic pressure. And when I had all of my insurance canceled as a poor insurance risk, I asked them why they hadn't and didn't then consider our closeness. So that's just another example of the NAACP and who they are actually with. So, you know, after all of these things, it started clicking in my mind, right? It started clicking in my mind that it's in the name. It's in the name who they are for, because they are not for Black people, or at the time we were called Negroes. How come it wasn't called the Negro Association for the Advancement of, I don't know, how come, or the National Association for the Advancement of Negro People? Why was it colored people? And I submit to you that from the inception, the NAACP was for colored people, not for Negroes. I am a Negro. Not for Black people. And I think that is the issue. So I want to remind you really quick of what, again, I just want to show you proof again. Like, I'm not just pointing my finger at the NAACP, you know, just because I want to, and, you know, I want to talk bad about, it's just when you start laying everything out, it starts making sense, right? I don't even have to go too deep. Like, I don't. It just makes sense. Like, because I haven't even touched on the boule or any of that. I'm just speaking of one group of people who benefited the most, who was the head of the legal department at the NAACP, the National Association for Colored People, not Negro people. Okay? So I just want to show you some more proof. Now, the clip I'm about to show you is from this documentary. It's called Jazz on PBS. It's 10 parts. When I tell you, Dewan B put me on to this. I have learned so much from Dewan B. But Dewan B put me on to this documentary, and I loved every minute of it. It was like a history lesson, like in music, but it just went along for so long, and it was like a time capsule. It was amazing. It was amazing. So I recommend that you check that out on Amazon Prime with your PBS. You know, of course, y'all know I have a PBS subscription. Of course I do, right? I'm nerdy. Of course I have a PBS subscription. Come on. But yeah, so you need a PBS subscription to watch it, but it was amazing, right? Okay. So I just want to show you this clip from this. Just a little short clip. Okay, here we go.
Many young African Americans came to see the promise of racial integration as just another white man's trick. Some black musicians came to believe that too, and struggled to reclaim jazz from what they saw as white control.
The music was always social and was always embraced by the country, whether they want to admit it or not. There are some people in the industry who would like to manipulate it, and they want to take credit and say that we didn't do it. They'll steal your ancestors here if you let them.
She said they'll steal your ancestors if you let them. Okay? So, again, that's just more proof that that is not what we wanted. That the integration was not what we wanted. They knew it was the white man's trick. That's not what we wanted. And then now, let's see what we got. Okay? Once things were integrated, let's see what we got. So this next video, I don't even know how this showed up on my timeline. I can only say that it has to be the ancestors because I'm not really into baseball like that. But this clip right here, let me play. This is Reggie Jackson talking about what it was like in the beginning of integration.
My Even Melanin Face Mud and Body Scrub at the Healing and Serene Ancient Blends Apocryphy Care and Plants. This is the most beautiful eyeful of a store with so many wonderful healing products. I am so happy to have my products there. And Priestess Yendes, I thank you for being a calming and supportive force in my life. Harness the power of nature with my sweet and salty body scrub and face mud. My face mud features a perfect blend of sugar and salt, working harmoniously to slough away dull and dead skin cells. The result, a fresh, radiant complexion and silky soft skin beneath. The aroma of coffee awakens your senses, while turmeric fades marks from past blemishes, evening your melanin to perfection. My invigorating body scrub buffs away dull skin, leaving it irresistibly smooth and radiant. My invigorating scrub buffs away dull skin, leaving it irresistibly smooth and radiant. Infused with collagen, it promotes elasticity and improves texture that creates a youthful appearance. Visit the Ancient Blend store, a beautiful haven with healing products. I'm thrilled to have my products here. The calming atmosphere, filled with plants and art, is a feast for the senses. Stop by and experience it yourself at 357 Tompkins in Brooklyn.
Hey fam, tap in with your boy. Let's get us back together, man. I know we can do it. It's your boy Omizi. Did good. My brother D out here with us. Everything.
Place, man. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, don't worry about the Red Cross. Donate to them. And if you look at my Twitter, let's go to my Twitter at @DejuanB. I have my people I want y'all to donate to. I've been posting the links all day. Go to my Twitter. I got the links up to my boy Derek, my boy Tay. These people lost their houses, they lost everything. Everything that they know, gone. Please donate to them, please. If it ain't nothing but $5,